Well, as we turn the calendar to 2023, might be a good time to take a break and see how we run our day-to-day calendar. And we're here with Amy Richardson, who's the CEO of Richardson Professional Solutions. How are you?
Doing well. How are you, Neil?
I am fantastic. You have an interesting analogy to being an entrepreneur is like
Riding a bull.
How so?
Because, there's all the ups and downs, spins and ejections, as we say.
Mm-hmm.
So just really holding on tight and trying to manage what's within your control.
Good point. And so there's three main tips that you have as a better way to manage things, whether you're a boss or just a busy professional.
Right. Absolutely.
Is that right? I am very guilty of getting emails throughout the day like everyone else does. And for some reason, maybe I'm afraid I'm going to forget, but I feel the need to hit reply and even say, hey, I'm in a meeting, but I'll get back to you. Is that typical?
Absolutely. And I think because we all have our phone attached to our hand majority of the time, we feel compelled to answer right away. And like you said, you don't want to forget, so you want to take care of it while you're already thinking about it. Maybe you're in the doctor's office waiting room and you happen to have 3 minutes to do so, but then you might get stuck where now they're immediately replying back, and so you feel compelled to email back right quick again, and now you're kind of in this downward spiral and you no longer have time. So what you can do is you can reply, but you can just set it to delay your send. So you're taking care of it, getting it off of your mind, you're checking that box, but you're delaying the send through your email provider, whether that's Google or Outlook, so that it goes out in, say, an hour. Or, if you're like me and you work after the kids go to bed, you don't really want to be replying to a client at 10:30, 11:30 at night. So you can go ahead and take care of it, but schedule the send for, say, 8 in the morning the next day.
Wow. That sounds a bit like scheduling a post on social media.
Very much so, yeah.
I never knew that you could even do that. Is it a specific setting on your phone that you have, or?
We'll have to do a tutorial one day.
Okay.
But yes, you can also do it from the desktop as well. Google makes it very easy with a little drop-down arrow right beside the send button, and it says schedule send. Outlook is a little bit more convoluted, having to go through your settings up top in the ribbon. But yeah, I can absolutely show you.
Well, interesting. And I've also heard that some people advise that you answer emails at 2 times during the day, like you do 20 at a time at 3 in the afternoon and 7 in the morning. Are you a proponent of that?
I wish I could be. A lot of people are able to time block in that way, and I am just not one of them, unfortunately, because I am not always available at 10 and 2 or whatever those time blocks may be. I have to be a little bit more flexible when it comes to my schedule, but I do try to keep an eye on my calendar, and when I get, say, 2 to 3 meetings in one day, I will go ahead and block off the rest of that day for client work to make sure that I don't get myself boxed into where I'm in meetings all day and have no time to do any productive work.
We're continuing with Amy Richardson, and the website is richardsonprosolutions.com. They are the back office queens. Well, I guess king as it relates to IT.
That's right.
Her husband handles the IT portion of the company, and a very successful business, and we enjoy our relationship, and they handle the bookkeeping part. We were talking about the telephone and the cell phone with emails, and much is the same with the calls coming in.
That's right.
How do you feel about whether you should answer it when it comes in or how you should respond? And again, there are automated ways to do so.
Absolutely. I think it depends, again, do you have time to give that person your undivided attention that they deserve? And what does your schedule look like over the next 20 minutes in case that phone call goes long? So for myself, I have to send a lot of calls to voicemail because I'm either in the middle of triaging something, I'm trying to find something for a client in the file cabinet or their Google Drive, and they really need my attention right now. And because we get a lot of inquiries about our business, I run the risk when I answer the phone of I'm about to be stuck on an impromptu consultation call for 30 minutes, right? And so a lot of times I will, for the protection of my time and the protection of my client having my time in that moment, I will send that call to voicemail and then return their call or have my assistant return their call when we have time to give them the undivided attention. And if they do need to meet with me, that's great. I just get them on the calendar to make sure that they have my time in that moment 100% when they need it.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. Do you like those automated responses? I think it's, I'll call you later, or there's some options I think you can set.
To send a text message? Or?
Well, when someone calls and you reply, of course it would go to voicemail, but you can also, but no, you're right, it is text, isn't it? Mm-hmm. You text, and then you have an opportunity to respond, and you can choose options. Is that right?
Right. I think it depends on what phone application you're using, what literal phone you have, what carrier you have. I think all of those play into that. But absolutely, there are options out there to be able to send automated replies as well.
And I like it because what it says to me is they're busy, but I'm still important. And,
that's right.
And they're going to get back to me.
And I think it also depends on, do you know the person that's calling you? Do you know that they're calling from a cell phone that you can send them that message back? Because if someone is calling from a business phone, you might not necessarily be able to send a message back. So
good
I think
point.
It just really depends.
And for more tips, please go to richardsonprosolutions.com. And the last tip has to do with your to-do list. And
That's right.
you've got 10 things in a course of a day to do. I tend to pick the things I like to do first. But what do you suggest in terms of your choices?
I think most people, work differently. Everybody's going to work a little different. So you like to do the things you like first. It makes you happy, right? But then now you're procrastinating and you're dreading the other things that are on your list.
Very true.
Right? Some people like to work the other way around, rip off the Band-Aid, get the hard stuff out of the way first, and then ending with all the things that they enjoy. One thing that I like to mention working in a lot of project management is making sure that you're being careful when you're just pulling those low-hanging fruit items to get that shot of dopamine. While, yes, you do have to reward yourself and you want to give yourself those small little milestones to work through your to-do list, just make sure you're not doing all of the low-hanging fruit at one time to where now you only have the big stuff that's left, because then getting those shots of dopamine later on are going to be a lot harder, right? The other thing to consider is what you're working on, what should be a priority. So we tend to get tunnel vision, or like Dory, ooh, shiny, right? Let's go ahead and do the things that we're very excited about. When we have things right here that are due for a project at the end of the week, but the thing that I choose to do and to use my time to do is for a project that's not due until next month. Am I really using my time the way that I should be? Because now I don't get that time back, but I still have this project due at the end of the week.
Right.
So just making sure that you're being careful and selective of how you prioritize things on your to-do list.
Well, we promised you 3 tips, but Amy is extra. So define the difference between important and urgent.
Okay, so Dwight D. Eisenhower once said, I have 2 kinds of problems, the urgent and the important. The urgent are not important, and the important are never urgent.
Wow. Okay.
How about that?
I like that.
Yeah.
That's interesting words of wisdom for us to close out this month's edition of the podcast.
All right.
The Amy Chronicles, as you were. Thank you.
Thank you.
richardsonprosolutions.com. We'll see you next time.